Chapter 9. Duel Without Honor, Farce. This is the entertainment planet Reception. We've hosted many legendary events in our long history, but rarely has one been so legendary. We're proud to present a godly knight versus godly knight fight. Isn't that amazing? We're so lucky to be able to present this moment. One could easily go their entire lives and never see such an event. It's a rarity itself to even be able to gaze at such a rarity that the 7 bodies, including the rare escort knight, unknown cavalry, gathered together so many cavalry, let alone to have so many at once. And right after we had the pleasure of showing the Galactic Federation's Kamedake destroy the Daruma Guild with a tremendous rage. And who can forget the power shown off when the Maiden Knights and many armored knights came out in front of us? The battle of the next day was hyped up even more than ZNV and Himik's battle. The announcers on Reception were running off the excitement that came from the previous battle being left unfinished. The audience ate it up. Yeah, it's about to get really exciting. Jitsuki and the others gathered in a townhouse. Although it was said to be a townhouse, there were only 2 levels with 10 rooms. It was the base of housing and activities for Koma Kitsune and her companions. There was an office there for them to use too, but presently they were hesitant to start using it. It's been a big fuss since yesterday, so I quickly ran away, and I see now that I made the right decision. If he were caught up in that, your older brother would have been overwhelmed overnight. In other words, I was used to deep emotion. Isn't it mutual? Because Koma Kitsune and her companions were not going out for information gathering, they did not hold back with jokes. It was almost like a student studying in a friend's room. And I got to see an awesome live feed while I was eating this morning. Thanks to the fact that it came out of nowhere, though, I had a hard time not spewing and almost throwing up. It is because he was dismissed in those battle ethics? To be honest, I'm relieved. It's one of the root causes of all the evil that brought the battle into ruin. Well, this has pretty much destroyed their authority. They're blowing off the credit for making me accept the terms of my brother's improvement. But they're clowns when that broadcast is on the air. And it must be pretty painful to have your shadow warriors exposed. I'm sure that's just another trick because battle ethics is a hereditary system, but I'm surprised they were able to hide it until now. The more important question is about the duel. Is 4 against 1 really serious? In other words, the condition Kiriko received was for a 4-to-1 against Kiriko duel. It's fun to watch my older brother, but I do not care about this so far. Oh, of course I have not praised you. Although this victory is 90% abuse and 1 minute cheering for my brother. No, that 1 minute is sufficient for the privileged hierarchy. It was only natural that one of them would control the blind seat. If you won, you're in the government army. It's a good strategy, but not in a duel. What do you think Kiriko is thinking? Is that how confident she is in that armored cavalry? Or is it her own piloting skills? If what you said about my sister's improvement is true, then that means it's both. Maybe the flashy use of the Kamedake was just a cover, or a cover for her hand. However, the Kamedake isn't ordinary either. The one that was hit was a special class that your father also uses. I can't believe it was so easily beaten. The numbers were amazing too. The technology that can control those things isn't normal either. I'm more concerned with the fact that she showed you so many of them. I still think she's trying to hide her power. It's only the power of technology that's amazing, and she makes you think she's a normal woman? Yes, that. After that, maybe an assassination seal? Yeah, because I heard that your brother made a flamboyant move on the clansmen who are hiding over here. According to their information, the workmen behind the Reception have turned down the request across the board, you know. Jitsuki said as he poured tea into their teacups. There was no companion or attendant, so they were doing the chores, but for them, this was a kind of fun. Could it be that that broadcast got you? Yeah, that's how I see it. I heard that was a warning too, so you're saying that the people behind the scenes have been put under the watchful eye of the Hakobi Washu? That includes the people in my house. We're currently investigating to see if there's any infection out there. I'd better assume there is. You're totally fucked. Oh, and back to the issue of the ethics guys having a special cavalry. That's the one that's only deployed to the head of the family and the royal family up to the 3rd rank, right? Was it the Central Special Research Institute that leaked it? Someone in the royal family used it as a trade. It's proof that they had a lot of power, but it can also be used as an excuse to attack. I'm sure there are a lot of carrion scavengers out there right now, trying to peel away the vested interests of ethics. Ugh, I don't want to go near the center for a while. Whoa, it's time to introduce my brother's armored cavalry. What's that thing? The 10 cavalrymen were stunned when they saw their brother's armored cavalry appear on the scene. Now on the side of Renza, the 4 Heavenly Knight class have appeared. Every one of them is heavily armed. The armored cavalry that emerged from each ship with flashy effects was brought to life by the huge, linked images of space. First up is Lord Sigis's Cavalry Thunder. This is the most orthodox way to use a sword. In addition, this time he will be using a replica of the relic equipment, the Sun Sword, an extremely expensive treasure sword that uses the mysterious metal orichalcum as part of its body. He wore Western-style armor with a design similar to that of a lion, and his sword, which was longer and slightly wider than his rider's height, had a design of the sun on it. Next to him is Lord Sigis's Rough Seas, a large, armored cavalryman who believes in power. And here's another axe-shaped relic, the Great Earthquake. Rough Seas was the largest of the 4 armored cavalry, larger than ZNV by a head and shaped like a long-legged gorilla with large arms. The armor design of all 4 horsemen seemed to be based on the motif of a lion, and they had a unified design. Of course, the detailed decorations and colors were completely different, but in a way, the 4 armors together gave the impression of a warship. Kiriko burst into laughter when she saw them. The dark black butterfly, ridden by Lord Sanma, uses its speed to distract opponents. It is said that he has never received a scratch on his cavalry. Of course, the weapon he uses is his sacred equipment, the Marita. There are many mysteries surrounding this relic equipment, and no one knows the full story. Will the veil be revealed today? The dark black butterfly was slender because there was no additional armor, and it was wearing a one-sided cloak. The cloak was sacred equipment. Although it was called a cloak, it was really a field of energy like opaque aurora rather than cloth. It was generated from the shoulder disc. Last is the Fire Star Rain, belonging to the next Kaizen Lord, which specializes in long-range shooting, and its tremendous shooting is like a huge meteor shower, a rain of death that destroys everything. Then there's the Dragon Roar of the Holy Relic, a vicious cannon that is said to shatter planets with a single blow. The main body of the Firestar Rain was the smallest of the 4 and was in the shape of a normal human. However, when combined with the super-large weapon unit behind it, it becomes a highly activated moving fortress. It also had 4 long cannons that were 20 times the size of the Tenki's, the Dragon Roar. Wow, that's a lot of equipment to fight a big fleet with. It's like you've worn as much as you can, and that's just your first battle. Just the fact that you're in there and in the public eye, what kind of punishment is that? With a double enemy, well, I don't know, but you're dealing with a single pilot. And yet you can make that smug face, so you might be a bigger deal than you think. Oh, no, it's just that princess on the side of the Galactic Federation, though. And all 3 of them whistled a sigh at the appearance of Kiriko. This is, also, all 3 of them seemed to be taken aback by the sight. Well, the Jurai Empire, where this person is from, is one of the largest countries in the Galactic League and is rumored to be a country of tremendous military prowess. Moreover, the princess of the Masaki family, one of the 4 imperial families that produce the current Jurai Emperor, has appeared. At the moment when Kiriko appeared from the Sakura, the moderator was instantly struck by the atmosphere and silenced. Although it was the result of the costumes, staging, and directing, her atmosphere had enough charm to attract the eyes of the others. Originally, Galaxy Academy was a place where individuals gathered from the galaxy, and the fact that there is a fan club for her is itself a proof of it. And excuse me, but what a woman with presence! She is as charismatic as the dancers of Reception. She is the master of the mysterious ship, the Kamadake, which went on a rampage to assist the missing godly knight ZNV when it was attacked by the heavenly knight HIMK. And she is a hero who has achieved many distinguished deeds in the Galactic Federation. She is also the wife of Sena Yamada. At the meeting in Reception, she smashed a desk made of steel, said to be worth billions, with one hand. She also defeated the infamous Battle Ethics Committee. I'm sure many of you were relieved to hear that. I am one of them. Eh haha, suck it up. No, no, no. You're a woman with a really good atmosphere. It's so interesting. Yeah, amazing. I especially like the way you stand, though I guess that dainty look isn't all there is to it, since the Witch Queen said she was afraid of you. Ahaha, I guess that's true. That princess stands out as his opponent, my brother's rogues stand out, and the announcer did not hide his grudge against the ethics committee. Jitsuki and his friends laughed like children. If Koma Kitsune were there, she would have spanked him, but that scary lady was out for the day. That's why the other two were slumped together. The royalty of Renza and the ethics committee are seen as the same kind of people. And here comes the other main topic of conversation. The more I look at him, the more I can't help but think he's an oddity. Well, Sacred Mechalord Yamatsu Wolf, that was unveiled on the eve of the festival. The form called that cocoon is exactly what emerged before. What kind of transformation will it show us? And what a surprise, Princess Kuriko has taken off her luxurious Jurai-style outfit. Kuriko took off her formal wear and Kagaya, who was waiting behind her, assisted her. They had made something easy to put on and take off for the occasion, like taking off a coat. And although the bottom is not a suit like last night's body paint, it fit like a GP reinforced undergarment, like the one she wore when she beat up the Deadless and Tarrant. However, it was still classy with a Jurian-style design on it. Unfortunately, it is not the same as the erotic thing we saw last night, but it is still very beautiful. By the way, the film crew attempted to restore the footage from last night, but the camera probe was completely crushed and the data that was being transmitted was erased by that dance trap virus, so all that remains is in my memory. The presenter clenched his fists in a truly regretful manner, but then quickly returned to his story, probably with instructions from off-screen. Well, I will continue the live broadcast. However, this costume is also a bit bold. The figure is tight, but the proportions are well defined. Oh, Princess Kuriko, she is running toward the cocoon. She will probably board the Sacred Mechalord, but what kind of boarding sequence will we see? As soon as Kuriko touched the cocoon, a complex geometric pattern appeared on the surface of the cocoon. Gel clung to her wrists and pulled her body inside. What the hell was that? After Kuriko was pulled into the cocoon, she was in a large bubble that completely covered her body with her hands restrained by the gel. As soon as the bubble entered the ribcage of the skeleton, the internal structure began to build around the bubble, or rather, the gel began to change. Koma Kitsune, are you able to monitor it properly over there? Yes. There is no viral reaction in the example, so I think we should be fine as long as we don't do a spy scan. The place where the 10 horsemen were located was only an office and residence, so it was not suitable for information gathering. That is why Koma Kitsune and her team were in the control center, which controlled Recepti's relays. Koma Kitsune, if something strange is about to happen, you can stop monitoring. Koma Kitsune-san. Don't take it too hard. The worried look on Misue's face was like that of a young husband worried about his first wife in the maternity room. Yes, I'll be careful. It's okay. I'm just going to start dancing. There's no other physical harm. They don't stop for 2 hours. It's a pretty fun dance when you look at it closely. It's quite precious to see Koma Kitsune dancing like that, isn't it? All the guys who danced had muscle aches so bad they couldn't get up. Those guys don't get enough exercise. I'm convinced that the hackers are shut-ins, because the person who set it up also sent me a message saying, you should exercise once in a while. Koma Kitsune, on the other hand, works out a lot. You know that very well, don't you, Misue? Well, that's not the same thing as this. Misue recalled various parts of his firm training, but quickly came back to himself. Oh, that didn't catch it, did it? Hey. Haha, sorry. By the way, Koma Kitsune, how does it look? The cockpit must be formed around the pilot. As Washu Hakubi explained last night, I think it is tailored to the personal needs of the pilot. And even then, I hear that they used prosthetic bioparts in the prototype, but only for a small part of the control system and such, you know? So, what is that Sacred Mechalord thing? This is a deviation from the norm for an armored cavalry. But the question is, how good of a fighter is it? That's right, but despite their skepticism, all of them had seen top-class heavenly knights up close and personal from an early age, and they all sensed something beyond them from that oddly shaped armored horse. What exactly are we witnessing? The birth of life? No, that is different from such an easy thing. As soon as a cockpit-like object was formed with Kiriko as the nucleus, an eyeball-like object was suddenly created in the eye socket of the skull, and the skeleton reached out as if to break through the cocoon. But the gel went on to clothe its arms, forming a transparent white body. The structure inside, however, was completely obscured. But woo-woo-woo-woo. The skeleton stood up, making a noise that sounded like a woman's moan as it was covered in gel. As the body stretched out, the color of the gel changed to white, as if the gel was transforming, and the holy machine began to wriggle its body as if it was dancing. How terrible and beautiful! I can't even begin to describe it. Maybe we are witnessing a new historical moment. Ah! With a shrill voice, the sacred Mechalord began to wear armor. Like ZINV, it was formed by a force field plant, but it was much faster than that. The way it appeared and attached itself in an instant, as if summoned from somewhere, was breathtaking. If Japanese armor is pure white, it looks like a bridal gown. Is it hair or a veil? It was long enough to reach the ground, and it had a complex rainbow color like the surface of water. The armor made it almost impossible to see, but its hands were thin and slender, and they were jet black, reflecting no light. The face was also jet black, with only the long, slit eyes shining brightly. Slowly, the great breath or air subsided, and the sacred Mechalord, Yamato Wolf, was revealed. Yamata no Orochi, one spear. That was the voice of Kiriko. Darkness grew from the palm of the wolf, which took the form of a spear. With one hand gripping the spear, she spun it into an upright position and lightly thrust it into the scorching runway. It was the simplest form of a spear. Its length was 2.5 times that of the Yamato Wolf. Now, at last, the first armored cavalry of the Galactic Federation, created by the legendary philosopher Washu Hakubi. The transformation process and its appearance are truly unique and different. Now let's see what it can do. When her opponents were ready, they left the mothership and moved to an asteroid prepared by Recepshi. Once the mothership left the combat zone, the duel would begin. Kiriko-sama, if you deem it too dangerous, send a signal of surrender at your discretion. Please note that it is a one-time offer. I understand. Seeing the anxious look on Sauron's face made Kiriko happy in many ways. No matter how many times they talked, she enjoyed his presence. Her anxiety towards Sena and anger towards the other party were allayed only at this time. Good luck. Thank you, Masaki Kiriko. You can't expect to get away with all the insults you've heaped on Renzin royalty. They were probably trying to shake her up mentally. She could hear the vibrating wave transmission of the next cavalry. I guess anything is possible. Well, even in a duel, which is considered sacred, this is how it is in battle. If you won, the rest is whatever you wanted it to be. Winning is what determined right and wrong. As for those ethical carrion scavengers, let's give them a little credit. I'll show them a little mercy for their minor merits. You will immediately dismount from your fancy armored cavalry, surrender to us, apologize to us, give us everything, and serve us. Then your body will be at ease. We'll give you plenty of luxury. That's what these people say to women all over the world. Anyway, your husband's whereabouts would be a trivial matter with our help. But that man does not deserve a godly knight. The ship should be ours as well. If you can become a hero with unworthy power, you can rule the galaxy with our help. And you'll be better off for it. She could hear the laughter coming from all around. The tone of voice was soft, but the content was truly vulgar. They are relieved to outnumber and outgun her and buoyed by the certainty of victory. She knew from the data she'd gotten from the Battle Ethics Committee how many maneuvers they'd pulled off with the committee. Of course, they didn't start out that way, but their relationship had grown rapidly over the past few years. And the pure feelings they may have had in the beginning had quickly rotted away, revealing the abomination that she saw before her. Shut up, let's get started. Just think of her as a woman and take care of her. You won't regret it. Kiriko's simple rejection of his proposal made the next of Crown furious, and a few seconds later, he gave the signal for the start of the duel.